Hey guys, it's Juanita Coley, the Contact Center Whisperer. Y'all, I'm here in Porto at the 59CX Summit, and I am sitting with none other than the Chris Silver. Chris Silver is the global VP of Strategic Accounts or Sales.
Yes.
Right? All right. So, Chris, tell me a little bit about yourself. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and interview with me today. But tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get in this space?
Absolutely. It's actually it's an interesting story. And Nick Dells, I think you interviewed him earlier. He played a big role in it. I started out with AT&T, and I went through a big business development leadership program there for sales specifically. I was in Atlanta, worked my way through that, and got into their direct sales program, talking to the mid market and up market businesses, selling just business capabilities, business software. That was the first venture into the cloud. When I was there, I want to say about 15 years ago, the big push was cloud mobile software and mobile security. As my time went on at AT&T, I started realizing I really want to get to something that's a little bit more exciting and specific. I had a giant breadth and depth of what I was selling, and I wanted to get something that was more coming of the future, what's going to be the bleeding edge, and what's going to be the most consistent. Exactly. There's contact center, and no one thinks about contact center when you're on the way up, but no one realizes that it's everything. It touches everything. That's when I actually have known Nick for a while, and Nick was on his path up at Five9 and brought me over to actually start as an enterprise seller. And I worked my way through that, and I was a top enterprise sales director, which was the sellers at Five9 for 4 years, and then started working my way into building teams. I became the RVP of New York, New Jersey, and Canada, built out Canada, go-to-market regions there. And my specialty started becoming, from a direct seller, was the upmarket accounts, the larger multinational accounts. I was really passionate about international. That's the way the world works. I got really good at understanding that. And from there, I built the strategic team and built the global go-to-market strategy for the strategic upmarket accounts.
I love it. So you have some history on you.
Absolutely.
Some experience.
Yeah.
All right, I'm here for it. All right. So my next question, what would you classify, as global strategic sales, lead there, where are VP? Let me get the title right. Okay. You can't be messing up people's title. Okay. Anyway, so as a global VP of strategic sales, what do you classify as strategic?
Right. This is a question where a lot of people become really elusive, but I could clear it up. We've gone through a lot of iterations. And the interesting part about Five9 is we did it right. When we looked at strategic, we thought about what is strategic for Five9? Where do we want to go in the market? What area of the market do we want to really understand what we can bring to the table? So it was actually a combination of things. It is a mixture of employees, so 20,000 employees and above, mixed with complexity, multinational elements, and then finally, and then the multinational is a big part, because as you start going up market and hitting multinational, you need to be able to build a standard foundation with the solution, but service and support them locally, because the requirements are different locally than they are as a standard globally, market to market. However, the beauty of Five9, you can configure. You just need to have the right expertise there to support.
I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay, so tell me, because reason I really love that is because you actually have a definition of what you consider strategic. Sometimes people are throwing out these words and I'm like, I don't know if it's just me or my geeky nature. My background is in workforce management, so I love data. I love things having actual meaning. And so when people throw out words, I'm like, what does that mean exactly? Okay, so you talked a lot about yesterday in the analyst part of the event, you talked a lot about the success of the path to partnership. So tell me a little bit about the path to partnership here at Five9.
Absolutely. So with Path to Partnership, there's some core goals, and I'm gonna dial into them a little bit because they could seem pretty generic, right? So at the face value, what are we trying to get? Is people, process, and product. Now that can mean anything, but there's a giant meaning behind Path to Partnership. One thing that we really wanted to focus on was being more than technology. Our customers ask so much more from us than just technology. We're not just providing software; we're providing guidance, consultation. We're integrated further and further into their entire ecosystems. So, Path of Partnership was the goal to understand a couple of things. One, governance. When companies go into the cloud, especially with someone like Five9, who's a platform that really enables integrations, kind of like tentacles into different elements of the business, you need to understand who's making the decisions and what's the value. That comes from governance. So we want to understand the governance. We want to understand the difference between business and IT and what roles that they play, because there's decisions that need to be made, and it needs to be very, very clear of who's going to make those decisions and what scenarios. And then finally, when you understand that, the rest of the conversation is very consultative, and that allows them to move as one motion and spend 3 days with us in a way to redefine their business, their processes, who's going to be redistributed and reallocated to different areas of focus, and it makes it a lot easier. So that's really the goal of Path to Partnership.
I absolutely love that because I love the consultative nature of it. And I love that you've actually set and taken the time to think through, and this is all pre-sales. This is all, so think about that. That's huge because if you're taking that kind of investment of time, this is not just about, like I like to call it, slinging product, right? This is not just about like, oh, you get some product, you get some product. This is about, I really want to understand your business. I really want to help you be successful. Like you mentioned, that governance piece, that's really important when we're talking about bringing technology and changing the infrastructure and the landscape of a business and how it serves its customers. So I can gush out on this all day long. Okay, last question. Okay, last question. 5 and 5. Okay, so last question is, what advice would you have? Like, sales is such a critical role to a business, right? Like, after driving traffic to the business and getting eyeballs is okay, then converting that into sales. What piece of advice, and I'm asking for the people out there and myself, okay? What piece of advice would you have for like some must-haves when it comes to sales and really developing sales teams, sales methodology, all of those different things?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest thing is you hit on something earlier, slinging product, right? That is something that is going to be the death of companies in the future. If you want to scale your business, you have to care. So you have to be customer first. You need to become more consultative. The more invested you are into a customer, the more and more that customer is going to understand what difference you're going to make. If you're selling a product that you can actually sling, it's probably not that integral, which means it's probably not that valuable.
That was a little shade right there.
So the biggest advice that I can give to anybody is take a real interest, define initiatives, figure out what they're trying to accomplish, and only at that point can you understand what best fits them. And then it becomes less of a selling motion and more of a matchmaking motion, and they're co-developing it and co-designing it with you.
I love that. I love the matchmaking thought process. Well, thank you so much,
course,
Chris,
thank
for
you.
sitting down with me. I really value and appreciate you taking the time to hop on and chat with me, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I appreciate your energy. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Educate the people.
Got to educate the people. You hear it from Chris? All right. Thank y'all so much for taking the time to tune in. I hope that this was valuable. Click around here. I'm sure it's some more content somewhere. Until then, it'll be great. Bye.